Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. 3:44 a.m. Tuesday, September the 9th, with the big blue mug of coffee. Hope you're having a great day today. Thanks so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, it costs nothing. Please just click on subscribe. Thanks so much. So today I want to talk about the change in narrative from the federal government. Have you caught on to it? It's happening slowly. It's happening stealthily, but it is happening, folks. And I'm going to tell you about it right now. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you remember Stéphane Dion? Stéphane Dion was the leader of the Liberal Party for a while in the late 2000s, 2008, 2009. I remember interviewing Stéphane Dion on my radio program when I lived in Cornwall, Ontario. And I talked to him about the green shift. It was all about global warming and going to a green economy, and it went down in flames. Stéphane Dion went down in flames, but folks, the green shift is on right now. The guy we know Mark Carney to be is showing up in a big way. I'm going to talk about that. I did a video back on June the 26th. Here is the thumbnail. Carney versus Smith, epic showdown incoming. And in that video, I was way ahead of everybody when I said this. So let's move on to today. And I want you to think about two words. And I don't know whether anybody else is ever going to say this. I'm just a guy in his basement. But climate economy. Climate economy. I think that's where we're going. I did a video the other day saying all the chess pieces are falling into place. Carney over at the EU, over in Europe. Because Canada is the most European of the non-European countries, says the Prime Minister of Canada. He's over there with his friends who he can relate to, because he doesn't relate with North Americans as much as he relates to those people. But the EU, they're all about climate. Climate, the carbon border adjustment, taxing our oil and gas industry, keeping oil and gas in the ground, no pipelines for Canada, right? Climate economy. Climate economy. Those aren't the words that the government is using right now, but over the last week or so, I've noticed how the narrative has changed, and they're all starting to use the same words to shift to a climate economy. We knew this is what Mark Carney was about, but he's finally revealed himself. I remember doing videos back early part of the year saying, we know who this guy is. He's Mr. Net Zero. He's Mr. Climate Change. He's Mr. Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero. He's for getting rid of oil and gas. He's for carbon taxes are too low. That's who Mark Carney is. We know who he is, but they're revealing themselves now because they've got to show that they're trying to do something with Canada's economy. They're tanking everywhere. So climate economy is coming, and this does not bode well for Alberta. We'll get to that in just a moment. But what Carney is doing right now is what the Liberals do oh so well. They scare people. I did a video the other day on how Trudeau scared people during the pandemic. Don't vote for them. You can't have people who aren't unvaccinated sitting next to you. Remember that? What are they doing during the recent campaign? The campaign of fear. Crisis, crisis, crisis. Donald Trump is the threat. Team Canada, elbows up, folks. They scared enough people to vote for them, and they're going to scare you now because they've changed from crisis, crisis, crisis. And this is the word that Carney is using now, and it's even scarier.
What's going on is not a transition. It's a rupture, and its effect will be profound.
Changes in the global economy. This isn't just a phase, it's not just a transition, it's a rupture. It's a fundamental change that's happening in a very short period of time.
Holy shit! It's an economic rupture, a global economic rupture. It's not just a crisis anymore, folks, and that means we have to completely redo our economy in Mark Carney's vision. And what is the vision? Well, what are the words that are popping up all of a sudden? Everybody's starting to say it. Here's Julie DeBruzen. She's your environment minister. We're building a Canada into a clean energy superpower. In Nova Scotia's Everwind's work on wind power and green hydrogen shows how we can cut emissions, create jobs, and grow our economy at the same time. This is how we build a climate competitive, resilient, and strong Canada. You know, and Mark Carney's got investments in all of this green hydrogen and everything. He's going to make money on this. Here she is again. Here is your environment minister and climate change minister. Please see my statement on Saskatchewan coal and building a climate competitive Canada. This is the green shift we're in right now. This is the new climate economy I spoke about back on June 26. And here's Mark Carney and Melanie Joly using the same words.
Our focus in this very rapidly changing global economy is on what we call climate competitiveness. So we see becoming low carbon in any industry as being a key driver of competitiveness. We will soon also release our climate competitiveness strategy to position Canada as a leader in decarbonization. We're using this as an opportunity as part of a broader strategy on climate competitiveness to look at all our measures to help get greenhouse gases down, as I said a moment ago in French, greenhouse gases down in the key sectors, as well as across the economy.
Well, the Minister of the Environment, Julie DeBruson, is working on a new climate competitiveness strategy.
Climate competitiveness. That's where we are now with this green shift and this climate economy. And Mark Carney's been setting this up for months. He's shifting away from the United States, our biggest trading partner, to start doing business with Europe, because Europe cares about climate change and carbon emissions.
It's a big bad world out there. The people with whom we are more likely to trade with, now that our closest trading partner is attacking us, cares about carbon emission reductions. You look at the European Union, look at the major...
Guess what one of the requirements is to diversify trade to the European Union? Guess what one of the requirements is to diversify trade to the United Kingdom? Guess what one of the requirements will be to diversify trade to emerging Asia? Is to have a form of price on carbon.
Carney's going all in for this climate economy, for this climate competitiveness. It's economic suicide for Canada. It's economic suicide for my province of Alberta. Carney said ages ago he wouldn't give up on the emissions cap, and he said he wouldn't get rid of Bill C-69, the No More Pipelines law.
The emission cap, yes, keep the emission cap in place, but we do not plan to repeal Bill C-69.
Last week, Danielle Smith did a real slick video on 3 bad laws, and one of them was the emissions cap, and the other one was Bill C-69. The other one was Bill C-48, which is the tanker ban on the West Coast. And none of these things are going to change. And lo and behold, the Liberals are going to be in Alberta to have a little get together. Here's an article from Rick Bell just from yesterday. Danielle Smith showdown with Carney. And here's the main crux of this article. Wednesday's the big day. Wednesday afternoon, to be specific. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith speaks with Prime Minister Carney on Wednesday. Liberal members of Parliament are in Edmonton. I can already smell them here in Calgary this week, going behind closed doors to chew over the future. Smith wants to see some real action from Carney now. Albertans won't put up with delay anymore. They want to know they're going to see some progress, she says. Smith wants to see Carney commit Wednesday to ditch Liberal laws and regulations hurting oil and gas, dismantle the monster of anti-Alberta, anti-oil scheme cooked up and pushed by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his Liberal minions. This is not going to happen. We're all in for climate competitiveness now. The green shift is on, and I think what's going to happen here, because Carney has said this before, is he's going to try to bribe you with oil and gas money, because he said in the past that he wants to make big polluters pay so that he can make you more climate competitive.
Having large polluters pay Canadians to make climate smart choices, Canada needs more of this type of change. Change that puts money in people's pockets. Change that makes our companies more competitive. Change that builds the strongest economy in the G7.
I think the demonization of our oil and gas industry is going to go into full swing over the next little while. He's going to take money from the oil and gas industry, decimate Alberta. There'll be no investment at all, because there's not going to be investment as long as these regulations stay in place. But he's going to take money from the oil and gas industry. He's going to rob Alberta like the government has been doing for years. And he's going to tell you you can put new windows in your homes and put solar panels on so you can save some money. He's running around the country right now because the economy is in the shitter right now. And he's spreading cash around, folks, trying to bail out companies that are going under because of the bad economy that's been created by the Liberals. I mean, last week I did that video, the End of Canada speech he did last week. He's extending EI and he's making it easier to get EI because there's going to be more people on EI and they're going to be on it for longer. Things are not good right now. Danielle Smith has got a big decision to make over the next week. What is she going to do? She drew the line in the sand 6 months ago, and she's going to have to walk across that line and slap Carney in the face and do something on behalf of Albertans in the next week. It's going to be interesting. And also, I think the Alberta Prosperity Project better be prepared to leap on this. There could be a huge jump in the number of people that want Alberta independence as soon as Mark Carney gives Alberta the finger in the next 5 days to a week. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you in the next one.